So I'd like to call to order the Lower Suffolk Township Board of Supervisors meeting of November 5, 2025, and ask everyone to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to our public comment agenda items, or anyone wishing to be recognized.
Looks like the room is empty.
It appears so. So we'll move right along. Public Works Director, Mr. Jones.
The board would indulge, I'd just turn it over to Stephanie so she can discuss the projects that she has in her agenda.
Sounds good. Steph?
All right, thank you very much. First on the list is just an update on the Oak Drive right turn lane and sidewalk project. We're about 95% done with the final design. So that project briefly is around 700 feet of roadway widening to extend the right turn lane. We are also including drainage upgrades and stormwater pipe and inlets along Oak Drive. We are showing the 950 feet of sidewalk. That will be included in the project. However, it is currently unfunded. We're waiting on the status of the Greenways Trails application. So until we know that, we really can't move forward with any kind of bidding, but we can be prepared to bid in the spring. We do have 3 trees that are impacted along the road. And we do continue speaking with the One Corner property regarding the right-of-way or sidewalk easement in order to be able to install the full length of the sidewalk if that comes to fruition. We do plan on preparing a bid package that will include the sidewalk as an alternate item. So then whether it's funded or not can be decided upon if that is going to be part of the project. And it will also be fully graded. If the sidewalk is not installed, it would be fully graded to accommodate the sidewalk.
Only question, if we get funding, I mean, for the board to decide at some point, but I know it's a bit of a more aggressive stance, but it would be sort of foolish not to even press that sidewalk down to the corner, which if they're not agreeable by negotiation, that wouldn't be an inappropriate place for a to go in a different direction, trying to get sun. I mean, it may be foolish not to complete that.
And it might be worth doing too, Steph. I know you guys do a great job with discussions, but it's even to mention, I know that when we were discussing this with the Parks and Trail Committee, it was mentioned that there was hesitation on his property. And for that reason is why we did the crosswalk there, to prevent it going down more on that property.
Right.
So we're willing to work with them as well. And, we want to make sure we express that that's what we're trying to do, make sure that.
We've reached out every way imaginable and have gotten very little to no response from the property owner. We've in email communications suggested the various alternatives, whether right of way, whether easement. I think our solicitor's letter kind of lays out the options with the final step being a taking. Okay, if it comes to that. The last I spoke with the property owner, apparently there were some concerns about the property and changing hands and things of that nature. So he was very uncertain as to what the future held. At least that's the sense that I got from him. So I think that was part of the reluctance to discuss it at this point. Now, whether that's changed since then, this is probably a year or so ago now.
Yeah.
I just happened to catch him mowing his lawn and I stopped and just kind of beating his ear.
I'm sure it's definitely something that think about it again. I believe it's the benefits that it does have for the township and how they were trying to minimize as much as possible.
It's a choke point if it's not.
We continue to stress all those issues.
Okay.
I would just point out too that this property, the right of way for the roadway is actually in the road. So it's really trying to also help them and clean up their frontage and reduce the liability that they could potentially have with their property extending into the road. So I think all that was also explained in the solicitor's letter as well. And we're not affecting the curb line or anything like that, right? This is solely just the sidewalk installation along their frontage. We're also not impacting any of their shrubs or vegetation along the frontage.
I was going to ask how we are with the utilities as well, but I guess we're kind of waiting for this to correct that.
So I wanted to present, obviously, the plan to the board this morning, and our next step is to send this plan out with the utilities to all the utilities that are, on our PA1 call list and begin that coordination. There are some poles that are going to need to be relocated, and those will very much dictate the construction schedule. PICO will not give attention until an award is made to the project, and then they will tell you it's a 16-week lead time. So we'll do all the advanced work that we can do at the time, but then once the project is out for advertisement and awarded, that's when PICO's utility coordination will kick in. So I did outline a schedule in my notes here with regard to that. The only other real utilities are there's a gas line that runs off the road and under the sidewalk towards the Fonseca's property, the corner property. And there is a service line for the water line that will that ties into the Schnaubelt property. So there's potential need for a couple test holes in those areas, although we're filling in, so I don't foresee us having any conflict with those items. But we do have to do that coordination. So that's really our next step, is to start that process or continue that process. And that should go along fine with our schedule. And with the schedule, we are, like I said, dependent on the award announcements for any of the Greenways Trail applications. As history would say, those are normally or have been announced in the January-February timeframe. However, this year might be delayed since all of them seem to be delayed at this point. So moving forward, we would prepare for advertisement in March, April of 2026, with bids due roughly in June, award in July, and then that would start the construction process. But it's all on track as far as the MTF schedule is concerned with that grant. We have plenty of time, not really a concern. And once the actual construction would be able to start for the roadway work, it should go fairly quickly. It's not that large of a project.
Yep.
Um,
Stephanie, as this project moves front burner, that intersection has come up a lot recently. Citizen and the officers, and I think we're doing a crash history currently. The request that obviously is for a four-way stop. So I don't want to spring that after, at what point would that be considered? How would it impact this project with the sidewalks?
If it were ultimately warranted as a four-way stop, I don't think it would really have much of an impact at all. I mean, if that was needing to be built in at some point, we would be able to include that in this signing and striping plan. Pretty straightforward. It's not going to change other than our striping plan and adding some signs. It's all within the limits, so like we could certainly do that if it was deemed warranted.
Do you think, just from recent experience, that there's no way it would be warranted, or?
I do not know the volume on Moyer necessarily offhand. Um, I haven't been there in a while to drive that area to see what's happening, but in the past, I don't really think that it felt like it needed to be from what I've driven, but again, I haven't been there in a bit, so I think I would need to see some counts for Moyer to be able to decide. And I don't know what the crash history looks like in that area either. And has that been?
We're examining every crash to try to get to root causes for your review. But there seem to be some that are just missing the stop sign altogether. And traveling south on Moyer, because you can't see traffic coming around that bend, that is, coming down from Maple to Maine. That seems to be one of the primary causes, is people are stopping and pulling out in front of people coming around that bend.
So it's,
Okay.
Tori, it's two things. It'd be best to do a crash history and then speed coming to the intersection from Maple.
Gotcha.
Because
That's one of the primary selective enforcements, is at Pen Oak for that direction.
Yeah.
But if people are speeding, right, you need longer sight distance, and that could be the.
Mhm.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, Sounds good.
Thanks, Stefan.
Thanks, Steph.
Okay, no problem.
Doing good.
Um,
I'm aware though.
Good job.
I'm aware.
I know.
okay.
Stover Road Bridge.
All right, next, Stover Road Bridge. I just wanted to share the status of this, where final design is progressing. Our joint permit package is in the stages of getting close to being submitted. The ENS plans were submitted to the Conservation District. Our foundation report is complete. So we are at a good point where we were reviewing the required right-of-way and temporary construction easements for the project. And Mike, if you could bring up the next exhibit. So this is just to demonstrate the required right-of-way and then temporary construction easements, the required right-of-way being blue, TCEs being orange. And I wanted to just run through what we expect is needed, and so that we can begin the discussions with the property owners. We have met with Mr. Neckel already, so this would be a secondary meeting to go over the details. I'm going to start with Mr. Neckel. He's on the upper side. So there is right-of-way needed in the blue on the left-hand side of the page around the bridge and the structure. The orange is a temporary construction easement for our temporary measures, our ENS measures, and our construction measures. So I just wanted to point out those trees to remain are labeled as such. Those are not to be impacted. The dark line that you see on the plan is basically on the ground. It's not, there's no digging for that that feature to be placed. It'll just be laying on the ground. So those trees, I wanted to make sure we understood that those are not being touched. They will remain. So really this is just for your temporary measures during construction. You can see actually today the existing bridge does go beyond the right of way today. So part of the blue area is being to accommodate the new structure, but also cleaning up what is outside the right of way today. And we did discuss this with Mr. Neckel during our first meeting with him. Moving to the right on his property, the other orange area is a temporary construction easement to, right in there. To complete his driveway adjustment. As we pull the road away from his property, we have to make adjustments to his access. And we've reviewed these details with him as well. We're going to continue those discussions. It's a bit of an odd shape for a TCE because we are following his stone walls. I don't want any more access to the property as needed. So we are keeping essentially the walls in front of his property as the boundary. And the gray dash line is our limit of disturbance. So we're trying to minimize what we are showing as available area in that TCE. It runs along the wall in front of the property to the right side of the driveway as well. And that's really just to accommodate the changes in his driveway. We are, like I said, splitting up his driveway into two accesses. And I think as long as, he was okay with that, provided we could demonstrate, his vehicles can access it properly. So I think we're in pretty good shape on that end. Further down where the two pipes are, that TCE is again on Mr. Neckel's property with a small piece of right of way to accommodate the new culverts. Those are two 19 by 30 elliptical culverts. And so we do need a piece of right of way to accommodate the head wall for that crossing. Adjacent to Mr. Neckel is the Souter property, and they only have a TCE in the orange, very minor between their driveway and the property line. And again, it's just doing some grading in that area, so it's very minimal. On the flip side, that is the township's property, and we are just reestablishing the roadway legal right-of-way with the shift in the alignment. So as you go down the bottom of or I guess the bottom back to the left, Mike, that is all township property, and that would just be, like I said, establishing the roadway right of way and around the structure. And then finally to the left is the gray property, which we don't show an easement on. But there, if you zoom in, Mike, can you zoom into that corner? Yeah, there's a very small piece of like decorative fence. If you see it right there with the square block, yep. So that it's in the right of way and it's on the township's property. I'm assuming it's their square fence. Our LOD is outside of that, but not on their property. So the question really becomes if that were to be removed, we don't need anything. If we are to relocate that to their property for some reason, we would need a TCE. We are not showing that. So that's really the only impact on the gray property.
Yeah,
It's not even on their property.
we're gonna look to work around that stuff. If possible.
Yeah, I mean, we're removing it by the work with the grading that we have to do in that area. So whether or not we want to coordinate with them and let them have it back if it's theirs or not, that's again a discussion point. But I didn't want to show an impact on their property at this point.
Very good.
And then on the upper side, real quick, there's some ENS controls, but that is also township property. So we are showing work outside the right of way with that gray dash line. But it's the township, so we're not needing anything formal at that point. So the exhibits and legals are done for these areas. I have provided them to the solicitor. And I just wanted to review where we stood, obviously, with everyone here before we start the discussions further. And I think at this point, if there's any questions regarding this project, that's really all I wanted to present at this time regarding Stover Road.
Thanks,
All right.
Stephanie. How about the green light go fiscal year 26 Main Street and Clemens Road signal?
Absolutely. So the next intersection signal upgrade in line was the that we took a look at is Main Street and Clemens Road. So just to back up a bit, the two intersections that were submitted last year are still in a holding pattern with regard to the 2025 green light go announcements. We did receive an email and notice last week that said that those 2025 intersections can be resubmitted in the 2026 program. We do not need to do another scoping form. They can just be resubmitted as they were last year. I would highly recommend that since those two were first in line over this one. I would also recommend that we would submit a scoping form for this intersection in the event that those do ultimately get an award in the meantime. And this intersection would be the next one in line. So in reviewing this intersection, we did do a cost estimate. The grant funding request would be in the $508,000 range. It would be for 4 new mast arms. There is a newer mast arm at the one corner that was knocked down a couple years ago, but painting it is a bit of a challenge. So similar to 63 and 113, we would recommend going in with the cost estimate to upgrade all the mast arms. And we would be obviously using the equipment that was recently installed under the EDAPTIV as well. And that's noted in the cost estimate as well. So this cost estimate would be used to submit the scoping form, which is due by, I believe, January 2nd, 2026 for consideration. So at this point, we just wanted to share the cost and share the municipal match is roughly $127,000. And again, it's a little bit of a conservative estimate because of it being a grant application and based on the history and the timing for these projects to go through the process. But Main and Clemens, like I said, is the next one in line based on age and condition of the traffic signal. So really, it's just a question as to whether or not we would, you'd like us to proceed with the scoping form and making that submission for the 2026 grant.
Does that signal upgrade include internally illuminated street name signs?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would suggest that we have her go ahead and submit. There's no reason not to, really.
I agree.
It needs to be upgraded and we can get some $400,000 where you should do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
Anybody disagree? No. All right. Do we have a formal vote or anything, or just got a marching order? Very good.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Department update, just update on some projects, 30 Mill Road Bridge. Contractor H&K is working on the bridge parapet walls. Haven't received any official notice of when they plan to open, but the word is by Thanksgiving. So
Looking pretty
they're
good.
pushing hard to get everything done. And we've gotten, little to no cooperation from the county on our concerns. So we are looking to address them ourselves.
Very good.
Take care of those issues. New public works facility, discussing moving the public works to the Olive property. We talked about, the possibility of utilizing the area where the existing buildings are. One of the benefits, as we see it, is that, we won't be disturbing any already open space. It's already kind of developed. So, Mike came up with a preliminary concept. We haven't really had the time to go over everything and to really digest it, but, just Mike's first crack at it. So we're looking at something along these lines with, main public works facilities, some additional, accessory buildings, salt building, covered equipment storage, to repurpose the existing barn. By all accounts, that's the only building that is in usable condition. The rest are in the state of disrepair.
I mean, it's a good location on the property down the bottom corner of it for other use of it, and it is the disturbance. It's where the farmstead's been, so this will
Right.
recreate the structure stead, if you will, of that area, rather than disturbing.
What's already open fields.
The biggest challenge will just be, sewer and water are gonna, take some work. It's not a well result, and then I think just the, whatever power source you're gonna need from, if you need 3-phase or whatever, that's just gonna be the other piece that we just got to work through.
I agree, many people don't know there's currently structures back there.
Yeah.
At all, so that's how to do with that. Or, so, quick question, to me, is that gonna be on that side as access there? That's what that would take.
Yeah, that's the intent,
Okay.
at some point have,
That's good to have.
access to Main Street.
That's what that was.
So that gives us the opportunity to, for winter operations especially, to, cover the entire township as quickly and efficiently as possible.
No, I think that's great.
It's probably a utility corridor, it's probably a utility corridor to get out to potentially water people.
Right, and there's already markings that, right out there. My thing I would just want to add, and I was discussing too, maybe any kind of possibilities and trails that would connect there,
We talked about that as well. There's already an existing, trail from,
Hidden Creek.
Yeah.
Hidden Creek that
Right across the-
would require a bridge, so that there's opportunities and there's a lot of possibilities to really make a lot of connections with the trail system and connected to the Henning Shopping Center, connected to, to the school, to Alford Park, through the Bell Lane community.
Right.
So there are a lot of opportunities with,
Up to the
fairly minimal, construction of trails.
I thought
It's a
that-
hub.
I thought that many times, so it's great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're evaluating that and we're gonna, continue to tweak that. We'll keep you apprised of our progress. Main Street sidewalk project, Marino's still, waiting for Pico to schedule the utility relocations. Pico's the driving force, unfortunately, so all the other utilities will fall in line after Pico. Gets their work done. We're hoping by Thanksgiving that the utility relocations happen and substantial completion by year end.
Is Marino, is there any time delay factor with their contract? Because obviously they've substantially completed the rest of the project.
I can,
No, there's plenty of time in that.
yeah, they actually have till like June, I think, of 2026.
I'm just
technically.
wondering if they were gonna be charging us extra for leaving it hanging out there because.
No, in fact, no, they actually have also some remedial work along the one curb line to do as well, based on,
They're able to get interim payment on this project, right? They're not waiting for that section to be done to get paid.
oh no, they're getting regular, yeah, they're getting regular payment. They do have the area, near Dracus's driveway, the grading, the as-built survey was reviewed as well, and they have there's gonna be a small segment of curb that they do need to reset because so they're fine, they're getting paid. Plenty of time.
The other project that's taken up a significant amount of staff time is the Jacob Ripe Stormwater, the stream bank project. This is phase 2.
Looks
of
great.
the projects. There's basically 2 sections to the project. The upper portion is, these riffle pools, that, control the water as it's coming down towards the creek. This is looking uphill. And the second part of the project is closer to the creek where we're gonna create a basin and an overflow area and then a reconnection to the creek, just like we did on the other side. So, but that one, I think we talked about being concerned about the weather and not being able to get stabilization. This, we decided we could tackle. And this was right after the rain that we had last week, I believe it was.
So it held up pretty well.
It did. We had a little bit of an issue, some of the sand washed in, but I think once we get grass established on that bank. And that's what those are the grow blankets that we purchased for Park Avenue Fields. To facilitate the grass growth, so we're utilizing them there to try to get that grass and get that area established as quickly as possible.
Good.
But, yeah, it turned out great, Park Avenue watersheds. Completely thrilled with it, so yeah, the guys did a fantastic job with that.
Awesome, Jess. Good luck with the quiz.
Moving on, PennDOT Winter Services Agreement. I was able to, convince PennDOT to adjust the snow lane miles on Main Street and on Wamble Road, so we're getting an additional 1.6 snow lane miles as part of our agreement, which translates into a little more than $2,500 a year, which will be
Well done.
Yeah,
Good.
one of the things I had a last minute thought about the term of the agreement and moving forward, since this one is kind of cast in stone and they don't seem very willing to discuss terms, that I'd like us to be on the forefront of the term. There's 2 cycles currently with PennDOT. One started last year and we're in the second cycle that starts this year. So I'd like us to be moved up to the first cycle so that we can then hopefully facilitate or at least participate in the discussions with PennDOT on coming up with a more equitable agreement as far as the percentage increases, the terms of the agreement, things of that nature. So I reached out to the PennDOT district maintenance manager and have not heard back from him. So it's on your agenda. If you so choose to, to adopt the resolution subject to the changes. And if they don't happen, then we can revisit it and do another resolution at a later date. That's where that is.
Does the job on this, I know, the other town, it's a sign back and forth that, we get anything, I'm glad we got it, so good, it's something I wasn't much positive, so it's good, but,
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised as well.
yeah, I mean, it's, and 4 years is better than 5, I mean, which might do more with what we have, but.
Yeah, I think it gives us an opportunity just to be on the leading edge of it and opt out and then, participate in negotiations as far as what the terms of the agreement are moving forward.
No, I think that's great, it's a testament to show how important our crew is on the roads, and I think so. Thank you.
We at Montgomery County is the driving force with this, and we have been in the past, and about 10 or 12 years ago, there was an issue, and Montgomery County led the charge with getting, members of PennDOT central office to come to the table and discuss some adjustments and some changes in the program and in the agreement. So I'm hoping we will carry the same weight moving forward.
So it's fair, it's the extra roads. Thank you.
Department activities, poured a new foundation for the vehicle lift at the garage. We corrected a sump pump discharge onto the street. It was on Briarwood Lane, it was right off of Bob B. It was causing an ice and concern and issues with downhill neighbors. We also corrected some settlements, the utility patches on Manor Road. That's been out the long-standing issue with that roadway. Working on replacing rotted corrugated metal pipe on Yoder Road. This is near the bend where it turns into Freed Road. It's one of those things where we were considering doing a slip lining. But the concern was that there were some connections with the house that's right next to the roadway. Whether they have some pump or whether they have a foundation drain or whatever that's connected to that. And putting a slip line in, we'd have to reestablish those connections. So we decided to dig it, and what we anticipated being a 1-day kind of a temporary repair is kind of snowballed into the avalanche that, we're gonna end up replacing the vast majority of that. We're also looking for an opportunity or a different way to discharge that pipe, because it actually discharges pointing upstream.
Never good.
You can't get it down to where the stream is by Dave Bowe's place?
We're talking about that.
Okay.
We're discussing that. He has concerns on his property. There's some significant erosion.
Okay.
The existing trees on that portion of his property have caused the stream basically to make a right turn, and then it makes a left turn, and it keeps encroaching on his driveway. So he's concerned about that. Was talking with CKS, is there an opportunity for grants or for a project to give us some MS4 benefits? And apparently that, we've satisfied everything that we need to do for this permit cycle. And the requirements for the new permit cycle haven't been established yet, so we're kind of in limbo. But since that ultimately feeds into the Perkiomen, I'm gonna talk to Ryan Belt's Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy to see if there's an opportunity that we could partner with him on something like that, because he's kind of a wizard at finding funding for projects like this that he's worked on. So we're looking at opportunities. For right now, we're just gonna kind of connect to what's already there until we can figure out a better way. Traffic signal camera issues were addressed. We had 2 intersections that were getting false left turn arrows. So those have been taken care of. Huntsberger Lane, we had a camera that was out for repair, so that's been replaced, so that intersection is now off of recall. And at Crossroad, we had the detection zone was adjusted because when we had an accident out there, we actually raised the camera to try to eliminate the sun glare issue that we were having. So the detection zone had to be reprogrammed into the camera. That's done, so then now that intersection is off of recall. The pavement markings were installed on Morris Road and on Indian Creek Road. Continue moving forward with our sign replacement program. The planned pickleball courts at Heckler. We received some concerns about the noise, potential noise for pickleball courts. Doing some research, apparently orientation matters. I was able to find a study that was done out in Colorado. And the sound propagates the most in the direction of play. And the plan was to install 3 courts side by side, which would then increase the distance the sound travels towards the homes on the Hidden Creek. So we're looking at adjusting those. It's 600 feet away.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the power line. You
I hear you. I hear you.
Appreciate it.
But apparently 500 feet is the threshold. Because according to the study, when you get to 500 feet beyond that, the sound of a pickleball court, playing on a pickleball court is like the sound of the decibel level of a normal conversation. But in order to try to
Be a good neighbor.
exactly.
Okay.
So, and if we can, we're looking at other locations, maybe, closer to the barn, we could put 3 in, end to end.
I would just be careful. Don't ruin the
Setting.
historic aesthetic of that. You can address it with some evergreens and some other things on the house sides of those.
And
That's
what-
gonna be an issue.
What helps with that is that it's not paved.
Yeah.
So all the, the meadow grass that grows up to 3 feet high also has a buffering effect as well, so.
Yeah, these
So,
things come fast.
Yeah, I agree with you, I think where the existing, swing sets are is the ideal location. So,
I think
even if it's,
I own the house closest to where they're gonna make it. I don't care. So, all right.
I am aware, thank you. That's all that I have, be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Jones?
Thank you.
Very good, moving along.
Yes, sir. Brief update on hiring on the sworn side. We're still taking applications till the last of November. Applications are low, so we may extend that as necessary. But we knew this would be more of a rolling process, and they didn't do so. On the non-sworn side, we've been budgeted for 2 full-time, 1 part-time position. Tom Piatek retired, and we've been looking for somebody. We still need that part-time position. Joe and I interviewed yesterday an interested applicant, and who's ready to start whenever we get the green light. So even though it's budgeted, we wanted the board's approval to bring that part-time already.
Absolutely. Very good.
On the EOC, you have the, list of, that are expiring, and on the EOC side, I'll make some adjustments, get them to Joe, for January. Don Lynch has moved back into town and is very interested in being on the EOC. So we hope to bring him in as a deputy, and Lori will become the EOC, point person coordinator, and we'll have several deputy coordinators. And the biannual odd year limerick drill is scheduled for Tuesday, November 18th. And we've had all the requisite pre-drill trainings. We'll be good to go.
Sounds good.
That's all I had. Sorry.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions for the chief?
No, thank you.
All right, very good. Building and zoning, Mr. Beaky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last month, we had 79 building zoning permits that were issued, which is an uptick from last year. Your regular meeting for tomorrow, 862 eligible projects installed, is that actually asked for themselves to be removed. They wanted to, at a separate meeting, they wanted to discuss the deferrals. So you'll still see 531 Main Street, which is the Lemonwood Mill preliminary residential land development, preliminary plan. And also for today's agenda, just discussion of the two zoning hearing board applications. 34 Morris Road, reiterating that it's an existing non-conforming 2-unit apartment building. They are proposing to reconstruct that and build a basement which increases the size. They need a special exception to increase the size, and they wanted to increase it more than the 25% that's allowed for zoning, so they need a variance. So that's why they're on.
They're tearing it down and reconstructing the whole thing. They're not maintaining the basement. They're not maintaining the footprint or anything.
They're maintaining the footprint.
Okay.
They have to maintain the footprint. They're allowed to repair.
Yeah.
Help prepare the point of replacement. So they're allowed to completely demo it as long as exactly what was there is reconstructed.
To make sure it's fixed.
Right. So what they want to do is they want to stay within the footprint, so they don't need any setback variances or a use variance. They are reconstructing it, but they wanted to increase the size of it by building the basement and a couple of small quarters.
They want to increase the square footage, right? But not,
Yes.
not the size, not the overall.
Correct, the building coverage remains the same, it's just the square footage of the use. I'm sorry, I didn't like any concern with that. Well, in front of the planning commission, the planning commission did discuss parking concerns, just to make sure that there was enough adequate parking, because maybe a concern from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, something to that effect. There is ample parking, there's a little parking area to the left, if you're looking from the driveway out the structure to the left. I believe there's like 4 spaces there, plus to the right of the structure, there is a longer driveway, which allows, I believe, 4 surface spaces, and I think there's a garage. So there's.
I would suspect our zoning hearing board can amply take care of it.
That's what I said, it's
Yes.
just for,
I don't think we can send anybody.
Do we need, is there a disposition to oppose or endorse that at the zoning hearing board? I don't think we need to go.
We're neutral, and the zoning hearing board will do
They
their job.
they do their thing. All right. Next
The
up,
other agenda item on the zoning hearing board for next week is this work project for subdivision of this parcel, 379 Main Street. And the variance is for a setback for an accessory building. The accessory barn structure needs to be 30 feet from the side yard, because it's over 500 square feet. But the proposed lot line is proposed to be 10 feet from the structure, so that's the setback variance.
And to be clear, that will be a property line that is adjacent to the township building and the firehouse,
Correct.
not to any external property.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And no new improvements are proposed.
Well, we're obviously not going to oppose that since we'll.
I don't recommend opposing it, but we'll take that under advisement.
And not that it needs to be noted, but the last zoning hearing board was August of 24. And it was denied.
Not a good.
That's my view. Wow,
Good.
All right,
that's all I have.
very
Thanks,
good.
Michael.
Any questions for Mr. Buki? So moving on, Mr. Bukowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item on the manager's report is the review of the minutes for November 5th, 2025, October 1, 2025. And the agenda for November 5th, 2025. And then any questions on the minutes?
One thing on minutes in our communication committee. Maybe that I said that the committee would be hosting the table. I just want to clarify that the township was hosting the table. That's something the township would be doing. We did have representatives there, it's good there, but we'll have a presence if the town was hosting. And just for anybody watching now or in the future to clarify, it's 2 minutes. Yeah. Clarify.
Have it.
Yes, turn 9 community.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It'll probably feel like tomorrow. That's the only thing I can add.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the agenda for tomorrow evening. Under unfinished business, resolution 2025-28, authorization to sign the PennDOT Winter Maintenance Services Agreement as discussed earlier. On the new business resolution 2025-29, setting forth the updated MMOs. We met with the pension committee and the actuary, I guess, a couple weeks ago. And it was suggested that we modify the MMOs to ensure that we receive the largest allotment that we can receive from the state towards the pensions. And so they tweaked the numbers of that, which would allow us to receive additional pension funds from the state. The state provides funding towards the township pensions to the police and to the non-uniform pensions. And so the numbers, and they're actually improved as far as the township is concerned, because our MMOs are actually dropped a little bit from this result, or the result of this.
The market's that long.
Next item is 2025-30, amending resolution 2020-29, which established the Lower Southwick Township Communications Committee. Has been ongoing. This will include the addition of the alternate members, as well as changing the membership status, and no longer requiring that the memberships include a member of the Board of Supervisors. Resolution 2025-31, 62 Holliesville Pike, preliminary final 2-lot subdivision approval. As noted by Mr. Buki, this has been, the applicant has asked that this be removed from the agenda. Resolution 2025-32, 531 Main Street, Clemens Mill, residential preliminary land development approval. Resolution 2025-33, authorizing statewide local share account grant application. This is for the ADA accessible playground at Alderfer Park. Resolution 2025-34, authorizing submission of statewide local share account grant application, secure vehicle storage initiative. Both of these projects were submitted last year, but it was suggested that we resubmit them this year. Resolution 2025-35, authorizing grant application to the 2025 Pico Green Region Open Space Program, Briarwood Pond Aeration Project. Resolution 2025, authorizing grant application for the Monco Forever Green Grant Program. This would be for the acquisition of the Booker property. And next, that is authorization to advertise 2026 budget. And motion to award bid to Jason Smith for the 2015 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor SUV. Next item is traffic signal easement for 371 Main Street. Next item is trail and traffic signal easement for Tyler, Michael Carnavale, and Susan Perez Lopes. And finally, the sidewalk construction agreement with Smile Realty. Okay, the next item is the update on the 2026 budget. After our previous meeting, I made some adjustments as requested by the board. The earned income tax proposed revenue item was increased $4,750,000. And donations from open space, I did put the entire board number in there. That can change, doesn't have to be that number. So if not all the board members wish to donate their pay to the open space, the number will just be less, and it won't appreciably affect the budget.
Very good.
Yes, I appreciate that.
We
Um,
may re-vote on that in February or January.
Yeah.
Once we get-
But it's there.
It's constituted.
Revenues for the general fund for 2026 are $13,356,063. Expenditures are $12,176,493, with leaving a reserve of $1,179,570. On the expense side, changes include an increase to the wages office and manager. This includes a assistant finance person. As I've stated before, will have an impending retirement coming in that department. I wish to have someone on board prior to that, so we have a good transition. Additionally, and if we have enough time, for a very brief executive session, I would like to discuss another item that I have in there, but I don't want to do it in public yet. Under the Public Works, payroll highway, there's an increase there, and that is for, an assistant public works, director. I think, you know, you look at this morning's report and you look at past reports, you know, Doug is running around like a one-arm paper hanger and
doing a hell of a job at it.
and he's doing a hell of a job at it. But, you know, he could use some assistance. And if the board agrees, I would like to start that process.
I 100% agree.
Another thing we did add was the contracted tree removal as suggested at the last meeting. And finally, the transfer of the ambulance for the capital items.
We'll alter that for advertisements tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yes.
Nice job, very.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right. And then finally is the appointments expiring in 2025, at the end of the year. There's a list in your packets. We will be reaching out, which is our normal procedure, to anybody whose appointments are expiring to ensure that they would like to be reappointed. If not, we will figure out which ones needs reappointments, and as we've done in the past, put out some public notification for possible candidates and volunteers. And if the board has any suggestions, that's you know, we'll take those as well.
I mean, I noted it was the Lower Southern Industrial Development Authority. I'll be up for reappointment on that, but is it time to kill that at this point? Tax laws have changed to the point where those are no longer advantageous to utilize as they had been when we created it. So I don't know if that's something you might want to just check with Andy to see if that's, it's been inactive for quite a while. And no reason to leave it lingering.
Right.
In the Indian Valley Regional Planning Commission, that's actually Dave Goodman updated that.
Oh, right.
Joe, I know regards to the communication committee that we will be making a vote to add the associate members. If anybody we had interested in that last time, we could reach out to them, let them know that there's possibility for the fall.
Sure.
Pending tomorrow.
And that's all I have for the manager.
If I could for a moment before we go into executive session, I noticed Mary Beth Morel's on his Zoom call. So let me congratulate her on her election victory last evening, supervisor, and look forward to working on her transition to this position.
Very good. Anything else for Joe? If not, we have need for executive session this morning after this meeting. Yes,
Yes.
in the matter of personnel, with no intent to return. So with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Dear
Have a
one,
good day.
Tonight's